BS so enwe emre aso sensema yabo ano efiye ma mu ne ninya ebesom wo se no sia kase ewo KFM TV eso enwumre nsem no edoso ye papa na de ebedi mo akotini ABN se ende dey eye mo de abetu jo mo chese ade amampani John Dramani Mahama eye ni project ahodo no on the obehwe na wedi ninya so wo beye ninya de abo bibia sa enso so ana unpaid nurses and midwives wo mu de abetu jo wo chem se se ade eye wo mo salary a ahyemu akyeye papa no wo mo sa ban se won hwe na nimia wontua enfa mo ide mu ntwemu yede ebebro enwume yede dwede nsem enso ebeka ho ediamo eye gold board enso ede nsem bi abetudwa wo mo de kwama eye gold buyers a wo mo ewo my Ghana ha yede mu ntwemu enso yede bebro yede ndede nsem ebeka ho ediamo sofu kum chacha ende dwe wono so abekasa yede mu ntwemu yede ebeba besom wo we ni nsem ene afufo pi enwume yabo ano yede ebesom se no sia kase ewo KFM TV so yede asida kese ebeko ede ama yabo for KFM Musical Center. One more instrument via say a combo guitar, microphone, speaker, drum set, Nina Nudwini HM or KFM Musical Center. Once a bit me akasa instrument Nina AB. Udweni Eba and I copy mo ewa Santimantama, womo ewe drum. Womoni Sambra Hotel no any boy sharing Oba Crimantum Haswa, womo ewa cra Zombulin and to bet me alcohol. No do instrument a papa and a bonus so eda from Boko Elbosa. Dada bat take up also at all phones any one kadi bia say iPhone, Infinix, Samsung, Yam, Nina no dada bat take up the BNB. Hede amokwa kanesha womo ebe takwa station epe with me akoju phones papa ni bono eda from sa eso na nwumre talent microfinance eso esika kwabia aba ebo ani padodo na mo musika sem ejina ni nine so brand enu ti se oya akwa nyumu ko sorry school for na mo pa bia ye ed musika esie mu de meka for talent microfinance ede amo enwumre jume Adaruma no mo boy chido ma idi no sia kase no ye de ebeso mo meka wo se kase boy e twego ewe abe fontin tam fidie ne so Facebook and YouTube KFM TV gin etubetimi akoho na wa hwe bi na wa share na wa like na wa dwenche ne so die gu ase ama me kama enwumei okenkan fa wotimi kan edi ameje so ene Maame Esi Nkrumah me dani me ho sima ba me ba nsem no edo so na me hya ase edi ama Adeshima baye guswa ema makwaba edamasi se nyume muguso etmu TV ho amhwe KFM TV nyume no sia kase na mechensem na se ede amaudia eya kweti aba election wo mode be hyehyɛ so ewo September bosumi mu no eno ana the New Patriotic Party NPP amenu eko no eye wo candidate a wo ama di hye ya wo mo ewo akweti abaton peso aso no eye Ora Solomon Asumedu wo no so ede adesrede ene kwama eye wo mo a womo ewa kweti ase abato ya womo de be hyehyɛ so wo so ma wonhwɛ na abato yi womo nto emfa ma na yade a wo no mapa ede mom ye papa Ora Solomon Asumedu ne sama wo de abetudwa na KFM TV yeso ye de bi ebesom wo
obi onye no shamisa abato ya ye betu ma kwati freedom ye betu ma kwati akwaso de jembo kwaso enyo lo bi ni be ya ha o ye ya wa no ayama ya juma ni ye and so bi biara odi bi ba da sa oya no ya no un kan je ni sa no si enyo ru ye yo ro ha o ye opati akwaso ye da che ko kwaso ye mo ye ba se ya jesu ni ye ba se ya ba ko si ye owo dia akasa na anya yob no yobe owo ka sabaya ye ndi na tinie owo ka sabaya ye ndi na tinie you got to find you owo so change find bi ni asa ye bo de man follow owo abaya ma de man for many man for the year obi biara enda reshe musa abato ya ye bati 2nd September ayabatwa no jidi o di bi musa abani peaceful say any of the credibility in the through. And yes, I'm not for me. I'm a run with Binuma. I need to know about the ones I need to offer. How the history of Ghana. Your Moses, I can't say the individual for promised land. I want to know. I Joshua, I didn't man for doing One of them do, but be honest to me, I know. One of them do, I never for do.
Adeshima Benu in some way and a Ras Solomon Ede Ebetu Joe Sayedimu Efrin in Seminimo Aquasem from Edia a year Ora Victor Kojoga Adaudu wano so eka eye NDC amenyo kono ho na we Mahamas legal and communication team member no ano dia betudwa wo chem se ade ba ne se NDC amenyo kono mpuntu nyuma ene noma bi ekoso my Ghana ha wondi obetimi ede ne sa esinibo akase mampeni John Dramani Mahama eye project ahodro we initiate no wo behwe na waye ninia ede amo my Ghana emfa ho se eye pathway ene de sa project ne baye anase pathway ene de baye wo chese project ho bia e wo se yetimi eye wo my Ghana han wondi obetimi edne sa esinebo akase mampeni John Dramani Mahama yade a obebo ne homoden aye sampuntu ndwuma ni nia e wo my Ghana se ne be ya Ghana yenso yebetimi enya ye kan ko na obibia e ho atono e wo my mu ne sema eye ora Victor wodi tudwa eni
sure everybody that the president from day one even once he started all the meeting of various groups, the chiefs and the people, one of the cardinal things which everybody was asking about was the projects that had been started, the roads. And he made it clear that this his government would finish all projects started either by MPP or NDC. All projects will be fixed. We will not start new projects and leave them as pork barrel projects or elephant projects. You will make sure that, so I know audit is being done for all projects that has been abandoned. So let me assure Kamal that, listen, the president, he is in the driving seat and he has said it, that all projects that have been started by MPP are not even finished. We will continue and fix it because government is a continuum. And you know, this is the president that this is his last lap for him constitutionally. This is his last lap. He cannot, and he wants to leave a legacy. And that's all we are all praying to say that, look, this is the president who has come. He did his first term. He learned his lessons. He had seen what went wrong, and now this is the moment. And the way he's going even tells you that, you know, it was a time of reflection when he came into opposition. He's learned and he's going step by step. And everybody is happy the way he's going. And we pray that, as he said, we will find that money. He will have the strength, the wisdom to be able to complete all the projects. At the end of the day, those projects were put there for the benefit of society, for the benefit of citizens. Right? The politicians will play, go and put a plaque. This was commissioned by me. This was initiated by me. But at the end of the day, the benefit goes to the society. It goes to. So I'm sure, as he said it, we will hold him by his word. Right? If he doesn't do it, who suffers? At the end of the day, it is his party who will suffer. And I'm sure the president won't want his party to suffer.
Very well.
He will want the best for his party, and the project as is being audited, I'm sure they will scale it, the priority, what has to be done quickly, and I'm sure the roads, everywhere he went.
Enunti eye ora Victor Adaudu ono so nensema wode abetudwa wo chem se mampeni John Dramani Mahama one day wo chem say project bi a NPP amenyo ko no wo initiate ye ene wo no ankasa ne dia wo no so wo beye e wo my Ghana ha no wo betimi akase sa project no wɔbɛhwɛ na wayɛ ninia ɛde ama my Ghana ebusuafo ye free sansen no enwumre ne de mo akonsem from dia Alhaji Kamal Eyedin Abdullah were Deputy National Communications Director at the New Patriotic Party no and Obekasa what him say fans ahodro ye create ediama sa helicopter crashing victims si bomumbano what him say Kebeya Mampeni John Dramani Mahama any NDC amenu kono sa fan no womunhwe na womunkwenti fam obia e wo my Ghana obia eye wo ye victim e wo eye crash bi anase nkwenhia bi hono e wo se womutimi hwe na womunkwenti sa fan ni bi edemom ni titru any June 3rd wo mo a eja hyehye no etimi e kom no kebeya aban enhwe na won sanye sa fan ni bi enfamboa wo mososo no moso e yade a wo mu ho hia papa ne nsem a wo de tu dwa e me no nsem twofo hye twetwe nkomo no enyi
to do as a people, for me, in my view, is to strengthen the institutions that we all have as a country established.
Right.
Now, what are the mechanisms put in place within the ambit of the Ghana Armed Air Forces, the Ghana Armed Forces, and of course the Navy?
Right.
So that in the unlikely event an event like this happens, okay, the arrangements within gives some respite to the family left behind. Okay, if we do have some, what is our social, welfare interventions that we have made? I believe that is what we should look at. But ad hoc setting up of fundings, okay, or funds, I should say, I mean, it's for me, it's a non-starter.
This tragedy aside,
okay,
don't you think we should have a fund of a national nature that can deal with issues of public officials or public servants?
It's exactly what Elvis is espousing.
Yeah.
Elvis says, look, it is important we have a fund like this. First of all, I'm here to cite a law that says that we should have a fund. We should establish such a fund anyway. We do have institutions like Senate, we have institutions like the pension scheme, we have all this are there. However, if we need to promulgate a law or to enact a law that says that, look, government will set up a fund, which fund is to deal with contingency issues at the right time. I mean, issues that we do not even all anticipate. And when it so happens, out of the fund, a percentage of this, something like, will go to families that, of course, are affected. A good example is when Elvis talked about the military men or the army men who fell some time ago. What did we do for them? Yeah, so if this idea is coming up, then we can moot the idea properly, put it before Parliament, get a law to back it, set up a fund like that. It's not touchable until we move on. Otherwise, we're going to open the floodgates for funds. I mean, people to be setting up all manner of funds.
Right.
We're setting up this, we're setting up that. Nothing stops you as a family to do something like that or set up foundations that will call this. But of course, we should try to streamline it and get a law put in place, of course, and then set up something like that. Otherwise,
it should have legal backing.
Yes, it should have legal backing, basically. If we don't have something like that,
Ebusia for Eye Ora Alhaji Kamal Din Abdullah Awoye Deputy National Communications Director at the New Patriotic Party and Kameni Okono and Odin same way Abetudra Elhosa Yedemo Etwan Semne so enumerate Edemo Akonsem from the Dom Kumano Banu Deni Onya for Alexander Afenyomakins or no so Abekasa. What in same way Ekwama Ghana Mampeni His Excellency John Dramani Mahama watch him say any key policies ahudwa was crabby edi free hono and no ana Ghana a juma ho ayedin ye papa edi amanka Ghana de a bia opportunities bebre won nyuma ahudwa bebre na e wa hanemum Simon Penny John Dramani Mahama a ni key policies bia we ye de free hono and no ana juma ho ayedin ye pa edi amaye onmonya for Alexander Afenyomakins nisema wono so wodi tuja and the KFM TV yes ye twebi edi ama.
More than 1 in every 4 young Ghanaians wakes up each morning with no meaningful job to go to. Our overall unemployment rate is nearly 15% according to official sources. These aren't just numbers in a report. Behind every statistic is a young person whose dreams are on hold, whose talents are going to waste, whose frustration grows each day. When young people can't find jobs, it is not just an economic problem. It becomes a threat to our national security in a region experiencing various forms of armed conflict. Official figures show that 70% of our workers are in the informal sector. Small businesses,
traders, artisans who work hard but struggle without proper support. They are tough and they survive, but they can't reach their full potential without the right policies and backing from government. What makes this worse is that our current government has abandoned programs that were actually working. They've killed the 1D1F initiative that the previous NPP government started. They've blocked the tax waivers that were to help industries grow under that program. Tax waivers that were to help create real jobs for the real people. Here is what this means. When government fails to create the right economic environment to inspire the creation of new jobs, young people must innovate to create their own. When leaders won't build opportunities, the next generation of leaders must build them from the scratch. The choice is simple. Either we solve this unemployment crisis, or it will solve us in ways we won't like. I will say no more.
Dom Kumano Banu Deni Onmonya for Alexander Afenyo Markins wono anodin semwe ebetudwa ehosa ye to ansem ne so nwumre de amodian answer na Mikael se KFM TV news eye no nsia de no anaguso a wo hwe ne yetwagu ewe abe fontentam video ne so Facebook any YouTube KFM TV GH ubetimi akohwe bi ne wa share na wa like na wa dwentwe ne so de egu ase amame kama medemo to ansem ne so akonsem fofomu enyumredia eye Alhaji Kamaldeen Abdullahi our Deputy National Communications Director Edma the New Patriotic Party NPP Amenio Kono no so abekasa watchem senkebeya pokriase eye nsa wom kwantempon wom project a omoye no eye Finance Minister Dr. Kesa Watoforsen etwasika no sombo 4 billion eye Ghana cedis ediato was omode be kwanwe watches and Kebeya womfo emu 300 million Ghana cedis and farmer contractors sene beya wombetimi ahye adwuma se e wo sa kwan so na sesi ade wo mo ebre we kwan ne so ye papa kama eye Dean Abdullahi nsema wo de etudwa eni.
So I beg you, if the compensation is the issue, at the force you are listening. You have given 4 billion Ghana cedis to road ministry. Instruct them out of the 4 billion Ghana cedis. They should pay the contractor. It's 700 million. If you can get 300 million for sanitary pad, get 300 million out of the 4 billion. Let Marapoma go back to that stretch. Thank God he's a local contractor. Marapoma Ali is a local contractor who has been given that. And I think I should commend Amakwata and Asensu and Ku for doing that. This local content, we must encourage it. We bring the Chinese, they do shoddy work sometimes with great respect. And then we have a problem. So I think that this is a straightforward matter. It can be solved. Let's tackle it head on. And then once and for all, the people living there are also Ghanaians. And they vote. More so, they even voted more for NDC now. Amasama constituency voted more. And you want, and you are happy about it. And yet they are there suffering. Right. I think this matter, like I said, let us, with all respect, take a bit of politics out of it and look at technical issues. Yeah. If the money is meant for payment to be made to contractors, instruct or sit down with the road minister. Tell the road minister that, look, this 32.4 kilometers road is a very important road to us to open up two cities, Kumasi and Accra. Yeah. Economically, we need it. Yeah. So just sit down and let us discuss it. Out of that money, we want 200 million. How much have been paid to the contractor already? Do the mathematics. Get him this. Let him get on the side. The compensation. Let's get this. Then defer other things that are not so important. Then we'll be able to get this once and for all.
And until Deputy National Communications Director Edema, the New Patriotic Party NPP Amenio Kono Abdullahi Dean Nisema wode abetudwa eni ye to ansem so edemo akonsem from dia Elvis Dako our new center editor no anode abetudwa wochim say helicopter crash see wo my Ghana ha ban ebie fund de amasankofo ni nia wo momba no nkebe ya wo mbiem na Ghana ni bia ensa entimi enkebia wochim say June 3rd disaster see was second nkebe ya aban so nhwe na sankofo ni nia wontimi empesika bi mom na no eyade a eno so ebetimi amasankofo no so wo makoma etimi atom ye mesa se mra asem ni see no wo matwen asenka ban ebetimi aye bibi de abomo nti ono de wosusu se safan wo mu mbiem se ne be ya ebetimi aso wo bibia eso ne sem a wo de etudwa eni.
So for me, I think that
beyond setting up the fund for these people, I'm of the view that if we can expand it and rather make it a permanent fund, that for the military, because we as a country are unable to find the necessary money to ensure their equipment, we are putting up a certain fund that is there, that in any time any person in the armed forces happens to fall for similar fate, there can be some fund that we can easily rely on to support. I'm not sure that we want to stay here maybe in 10 years time, another one happen, that we are setting up another fund. I think that is something that we really need to look at, and not only need for the military. Some people are asking, so is it because they work for the government that's why they are setting up a fund? And somebody asked me, what about the June 3rd disaster victims, those who are alive up to today, who have always been crying that they are so struggling for life because their livelihoods have been lost, they have been destroyed beyond conditions where they can work for themselves. There is no support to them for survival, to the extent that some of them have been in court with the government for over a decade now, trying to seek compensation, and up to now the courts have been telling the issues up and down. The question people are asking, so are those people being treated that way because they were not working for government? Were there 7 military officers who died in 2002? Is it the state didn't set up any fund for them because there are no politicians among them? So people are asking questions, and which I think that is also making it look like in this country, unless you're a politician, when things happen to you, the state doesn't really care about you. And I believe strongly that it's a wake-up call for all of us to recognize that every Ghanaian is a Ghanaian. And if something happens to any Ghanaian, the state must show that kind of interest. The person should not only be working for the state, or the person should not be only a politician. Because how come that 7 officers of the Navy, of the Air Force, died in 2002, and we have not set up any fund for their families? And then today 8 are dead. And because there are 5 politicians among them, we are setting up a fund. It makes the ordinary person question the way the state operates. It makes ordinary person have this feeling that then if you are not a politician, you don't matter in the scheme of things in this country. And I think that we should use this occasion as an opportunity, and I will even put it before the members of parliament, that if they resume, it will be an opportunity for them to say, yes, it's a good step that the state has taken, but they will believe as parliament that if we can set up a certain form of a fund to compensate everybody that gets into similar situations.
Ebusia for enunti ora Elvis ono so anodin semwe etudwa edemu efri sansem no akonsem fufumo enumedia eye marche bedwane a owo ahyaman abaton peso so eye ora Ernest wono so e dia betudwa wo chem se ade eye dwadifa wo mo ehwo a wo chese wo mo afa kwan bone so apamo mu die from asase so no wo chese sa asem no sesi ade ono ankasa beginaginem na wa bemu e dia mom na se ne be ya bibibia ebetimi akodin e dia mom na asumdwe mapa etimi epiemu e wa hyaman ene nempotem ora Ernest ni sema wo de tudwa eni.
We've been to office to present letters over there.
You've been to my office to present a letter. You wanted me to address the matter.
Yeah.
And this matter you are talking about, the letter you presented, it was even before election. I met you people before election.
And after?
I said I met you people before election.
Yes.
And I'm sure since the time I met you, there had not been any issues surrounding here. If there had been, you would have come back to the same source. Who met you? I met Harun, I met Alhaji Rahim, including you yourselves. And we spoke about the matter. I gave direction. But as of today, whether somebody will come and brief me about the directives I gave, it's another matter. It's another matter. So don't present the case as if you wrote to my office and nothing was done and nothing has been done. If other stakeholders, you wrote to them and they didn't take any action on it, that is it. But I remember you were there.
Yeah.
I think you were about 5 or so.
We were 2.
You were 2. Okay. So the issue here is that for Alhaji Rahim or whoever the private developer is, I was told the matter was in court. I think that day when you came, you told me. When a matter is in court, no individual can intervene.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When the matter is in court, and the day you came to me, you made mention of the matter being in court. So I said, before I'll be able to handle the matter and the matter well, then the matter should come home. Aside that, I cannot even intervene or interfere. Neither any one of you can interfere. Is that not what I said?
Yes.
And then I made Alhaji Ibrahim. We all agreed that there should be a written agreement, document. Both of you will sit down and do whatever you contact your lawyers, and he also contact his lawyer. You bring an agreement, you all agree, and then you bring it to me. Is that not what I said? And since then, nobody has come to me yet to give me feedback. Okay, so the issue here is that Ashma is decongesting the community. I mean the roadside. You are now telling me that they say this part is also part of the decongestion. That is why you are demonstrating. Is that not it? So I'll have to meet the chief executive, listen to him, the basis for which this place is also being decongested. But first of all, let's all understand, I am not to determine who the land belongs to, because I was not there, so I don't know. It is only the courts that can do that, the documentations. And the 1960 that my brother is mentioning, I'm not sure most of you were there, except maybe our father here. So myself, I was not there. But that time I was not born. So I may not be able to determine. It's only the courts that can determine. But my challenge, whether the land belongs to A or B,
Enunti Mashe Bejania or a Ashama abaton peso so no one or din same way abetu yet one seminary so the more concern from in media. Attorney General Dominic Ayeni one so the abetu watch him say Mrasu say a group boys have been and do more fire for you same no yet me Eshemo Mujai Sade say one more modium who involve in same no a decatasi share any proye and a banting Kebeya as Uncle Foninia Umojumano NC and they are my Ghana. Attorney General ni sema wodi tu dwe mra woni semcho for share twetwen komo no anodi we na egu kwan.
I also want to pledge that we have to eliminate the Guru boys from the system, okay, because they raise the cost of company registration. I'm not a fan of bribes, but what they end up getting people to do is to pay bribes in the system. So for instance, the Guru boy takes his fee in course, but has to give somebody in the system part of that fee in order that the person will speed up the registration for the Guru boys. Okay, so much as it speeds up the system in a way, it is a very crooked way of speeding up the system. And then it also encourages bribery, of public officers who are genuinely doing their business. So if we can eliminate all the bottlenecks and make it possible for people to come in, either physically or remotely be able to register companies with ease, we will be able to eliminate the specter of Guru boys, always hovering around the place, and then making it possible for or impossible for people to go through the process of registration smoothly.
Dominic Ayeni awe ya Attorney General e my Ghana hanin sama wodi tudwa eni ye gina ne sem ne so na etwa ye ho akoja abo afon krato aba ye ba ye beto ansem ne so e dia
Yo, I'm for and I am my music from you know. Who free a Kumasi Macono, as Sunny Eddie Adumuno, Sabrano Udu a national Sambra Hotel, Quantana Sope. Now, shop on any Sambra, to my dear be a woody over here, a young figure, musical instrument piano, a KFM, into a say. Ghana mun Asanteman muntie eye KFM musical shop ana sabre ya bie no foforo mu no chan no ane udu Sambra Hotel